Okay, so every single day, you're just swimming in information, right?
Absolutely. It feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Yeah, news headlines, your social feeds, conversations you overhear, even just, chatting with a neighbor.
Mm. Opinions flying, facts being thrown around.
Exactly. And honestly, sometimes it just feels like pure chaos. How do you even start to sift through all that?
Yeah. How do you find what's genuinely meaningful?
Right. What's built on solid ground and what's just, well, noise.
It's a real challenge.
Well, today on the deep dive, we want to hand you a tool, maybe even a kind of mental superpower for dealing with that information wave.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to unpack the idea of an argument.
Right. And importantly, not the kind you have with your family over dinner.
Definitely not that kind. No, we mean the kind of argument that actually builds knowledge, helps understand,
And sharpens your critical thinking,
yeah,
which is vital.
absolutely essential.
So for this deep dive, our main guide is Chapter 1 from Trudy Govier's book, A Practical Study of Argument. It's called What is an Argument and What is Not?
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, it really gives a solid foundation for understanding logical arguments, how claims get supported, and how to tell when they aren't.
Okay, so the mission for us today is pretty clear then. By the end of this, you, the listener, won't just know what an argument is, definition-wise.
Right.
You'll actually get a framework, a way to sort of dissect almost any claim you run into.
Spot the structure, see the support,
Yeah,
or lack of it.
exactly. Spot the traps, find the solid ground. Basically, become more discerning, not just more informed, which honestly feels more valuable than ever right now.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where do we even start defining an argument in this specific way?
Well, you mentioned the common usage first, right?
Yeah, the idea of a dispute, a fight, that's probably what pops into most people's heads.
It is. But the academic definition, the one we're focusing on, is quite different.
So how does it differ?
It's fascinatingly precise, actually. In logic, in philosophy, an argument isn't about conflict at all. It's about justification.
Justification.
Oh, yeah. The source, Govier, defines it as a set of claims in which one or more of them, the premises, are put forward so as to offer reasons for another claim, the conclusion.
So it's about giving reasons to persuade someone.
Exactly. To persuade them your conclusion is true, or at least that it should be accepted. It's not just disagreeing.
Got it.
Let's use an example from the source just to see the structure clearly. Marijuana should not be legalized because sustained use of marijuana worsens a person's memory, and nothing that adversely affects one's mental abilities should be legalized.
Okay, I see the parts there.
Right. The claim marijuana should not be legalized. That's the conclusion.
The main point they're trying to make.
Precisely. And the bits about memory loss and things affecting mental abilities, those are the reasons given. Those are the premises.
Okay, so the premises are supposed to lead you to accept the conclusion.
That's the idea. You see the link. These reasons are offered for that main claim.
That makes a lot of sense. So these building blocks, premises, and conclusions, they're fundamental.
Absolutely.
But when you're just, listening to someone talk or reading an article, how do you actually spot these? It's not always neatly labeled premise one, conclusion.
No, definitely not. People just talk.
So are there clues? Things we should listen for?
There are, thankfully. So premises basically are the reasons or the evidence being offered up.
The support.
The support, exactly.
Yeah.
They're the statements you're asking the other person to accept as true to build a case.
Okay.
And the conclusion. That's the main claim that these premises are supposed to support or, prove.
Right.
You can kind of think of a general model like premise 1, premise 2.
Mm-hmm.
You might have several premises. Premise N, therefore conclusion.
Therefore, that sounds like a clue right there.
It is. That leads us right to what are called indicator words.
Indicator words. Okay.
Yeah, they're like little linguistic signposts. They signal, hey, a premise is coming up, or watch out, here's the conclusion. Very useful.
So what are some common ones? For premises first, maybe?
Sure. For premise indicators, you'll often hear words like because, since, for, due to, given that.
Okay.
Also phrases like as shown by, follows from, maybe inferred from, or on the grounds that.
Right. Those all sound like they're introducing a reason.
Exactly. And then for conclusion indicators, you're looking for words like therefore, thus, so, consequently, hence.
The classics.
The classics, yeah. Also, then, it follows that it can be inferred that, in conclusion, accordingly, for this reason.
Proves that, shows that.
Hideki said. On these grounds, it is clear that. Lots of them. They all signal that the main point is about to be stated.
Okay, those lists are super helpful. Could you maybe give us a couple more examples from the source just to see them in action?
Definitely. The source has some clear ones. How about this? The Giants will likely beat the Trojans this year because Swanson is such a strong addition to the team.
Okay, easy one. Because points right to the premise.
Spot on. The premise is Swanson is such a strong addition, supporting the conclusion about the Giants winning. It's the reason offered.
Makes sense.
Or universities need to have faculty who will do research, since research is necessary, and there are a few other institutions that support it.
So since introduces the why.
Exactly. It flags the premises that explain why universities need research faculty.
And one for a conclusion.
Okay. Fear can cause accidents among older people. Therefore, doctors should use discretion when counseling older people about the risks of falling.
Therefore, bam, there's the main point.
Right. It signals the claim being argued for. Or another one. The number of Buddhists in North America is steadily growing. For these reasons, we can see that understanding Buddhism has practical value.
For these reasons kind of bundles up the previous points.
Precisely. It signals that the preceding statements were the premises for that final conclusion about the value of understanding Buddhism. These words are often your first best clue.
Okay, so we've got the structure, premises, conclusion, indicator words. That feels solid. But here's where I think it gets, well, really interesting and maybe tricky. Because so much of what we encounter daily sounds a bit like an argument, but actually isn't.
That's a crucial point. It's very easy to get them confused.
So what are the biggest pitfalls? What do people most often mistake for a real argument?
Well, one of the absolute most common confusions is between an argument and an opinion.
Right. Everyone's got one of those.
Exactly. And an opinion is simply a belief. You can hold it strongly, weakly, whatever. But the key thing is, it doesn't automatically come with reasons.
So you can just state a belief.
You can. You can be passionate about it. But if you don't offer premises, reasons, evidence to back it up, it's still just an opinion, not an argument in this logical sense.
Okay.
The source uses the example of one person's opinion that wilderness skiing is safe and another's opinion that it is dangerous.
Just two different beliefs.
Just two beliefs.
Yeah.
Now, if one of them said wilderness skiing is dangerous because avalanches are common and rescue is difficult, then it becomes an argument. They've provided premises.
So the reasoning is the key differentiator.
It really is. Opinions become much more valuable, much more useful in a discussion when they're actually supported by reasons. That's where critical thinking comes in.
Makes sense. What's another common confusion?
Another big one, and this can be subtle, is distinguishing arguments from explanations.
Yeah, you mentioned indicator words can appear in both.
Exactly. Words like so or because show up all the time in explanations too. The difference isn't the word itself, but the purpose.
Purpose. How so?
An argument tries to justify a claim. It's trying to convince you that something is true or should be accepted, especially if it's debatable.
Okay, proving something.
Kind of, yeah. Whereas an explanation tries to show why something happened or how something works. It usually assumes you already accept the thing being explained as true.
Right, like explaining why the sky's blue, not arguing that it's blue.
Perfect example. We all agree it looks blue. The explanation tells us about light scattering. It's not trying to convince you of the blueness.
I remember you mentioned a weather example earlier that caught me off guard.
Right, like the humidity increase, so we're expecting thunderstorms. It sounds like an argument structure, but...
But they're not proving thunderstorms are coming, they're explaining the cause.
Exactly. The expectation of thunderstorms is the known phenomenon, or forecast, and the humidity is the reason why. The source uses this one. The window had been shut all summer, and the weather was hot and damp. So the room smelled awfully musty.
Okay, the musty smell is taken as a fact.
Right. The so introduces the cause of the smell. Closed window, hot, damp weather.
Yeah.
It's not arguing that the room smells musty. It's explaining why it does.
Contrast that with an argument using because.
Sure. Like the earlier one. It is wrong to steal because stealing violates basic human rights. Here, because introduces a reason trying to justify a moral claim. Stealing is wrong. Not just explain some accepted phenomenon. The intent is different.
Intent really seems key. Justification versus explanation.
It's a very useful distinction to keep in mind.
So we have opinions, we have explanations. What other kinds of communication might look like arguments but aren't? Quick rundown, maybe?
Sure, there are a few others that lack that core premise conclusion structure.
Yeah.
Conditional statements are a big one. If, then. statements.
Like, if it rains, the picnic is canceled.
Exactly. That doesn't claim it is raining, nor that the picnic is canceled. It just states a relationship between the two possibilities. No assertion of truth for either part.
Okay, what else?
Simple statements of fact. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius at sea level, or 49 divided by 7 equals 7. Just stating facts, not proving them with other reasons within that statement.
Right, no argument needed.
Nope. Exclamations. Wow, that's amazing. Or I can't stand broccoli. Expressing feeling, not arguing a point.
Definitely heard that one before.
Huh, yeah. And then things like questions, obviously. Asking for information, not providing reasons for a conclusion, descriptions, just painting a picture with words, jokes. They all have different jobs to do, communicatively speaking. None of them fit the argument structure of premises supporting a conclusion.
Okay, that really clarifies things. Arguments, opinions, explanations, conditionals, facts, exclamations. Keeping those distinct feels important.
It really is. So maybe we should pivot to the so what. Why does all this matter to you listening right now?
Yeah, why is it so crucial to make these distinctions?
Well, think about it. Arguments, the real ones, are fundamental for justifying what we believe, for making sound decisions, both big and small.
Huh.
They're also the main tool we have for rational persuasion, for understanding why someone else holds a different view, and for explaining our own views clearly.
Right, getting beyond just shouting opinions at each other.
Exactly. And in this absolute flood of information we live in, being able to spot a real argument, one with actual reasons, helps you evaluate things critically.
So you don't get swayed by stuff that just sounds convincing but has no backup?
Precisely. Or by mere emotional appeals or just confidently stated opinions. It also makes you a better listener, I think.
How so?
Because if you understand the structure, you start listening for it. You listen for the main point someone's trying to make, and you listen for the reasons they're giving. You engage more actively.
Instead of just reacting.
Instead of just reacting. Most people, let's be honest, often operate on gut feeling or emotion. This framework gives you a way to pause, to analyze rationally and ask, okay, what's the actual claim here, and are the reasons given any good?
That shift from reaction to analysis, that feels powerful.
It is. It's a profound shift in how you process information.
Yeah, this definitely isn't just some dry academic exercise. It's about becoming a savvier consumer of all the information thrown at you.
And a more effective communicator yourself.
Right. Because if you understand how strong arguments are built, you can build them better yourself. You can make your own points more clearly, more persuasively.
It empowers you to cut through the noise, basically. Yeah. To see what's solid reasoning and what's something.
Your personal signal filter. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap. We've really dug into the specific definition of an argument, not a fight, but claims supported by reasons.
Premises leading to a conclusion.
Exactly. We identified those key parts, the premises and the conclusion, and learned how helpful those little indicator words like because or therefore can be in spotting them.
Your linguistic signposts.
Right. And maybe most crucially, we've drawn some clear lines distinguishing proper arguments from things like mere opinions.
Which lack reason support.
From explanations.
Which aim to show why, not prove that.
And from other everyday communication like conditionals, facts, questions, and so on that just don't have that core premise conclusion structure.
Mm-hmm. Covered a lot of ground.
We did. So maybe a final thought to leave our listeners with. Something to mull over.
Yeah, building on what we've discussed, just think about the sheer volume of information you encounter every single day. News, social media, chats, everything.
It's overwhelming sometimes.
It really is. So the question to reflect on is, how does this, the ability to clearly spot arguments, and maybe just as importantly, spot non-arguments, how does that change the way you engage with all that information? Does it make you maybe more discerning, more careful about what you just accept as true?
Yeah, does it make you pause before hitting share, maybe?
Perhaps. And how does it change how you choose to express your own thoughts and beliefs? Do you find yourself thinking more about the why behind your own views?
That's a great question to ponder. It really brings it back to personal practice.
That's the goal.
Well, definitely something for all of us to reflect on as we navigate our day. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.